Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Tuesday 9th May 2017. I'm Fredicia Liebert. A voice to lead achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. That is the theme for the observation of Nurses Week here on Nevis for 2017. The theme was chosen by the International Council of Nursing with the aim of not only educating nurses, but also to highlight the fact that they are working to achieve the SDGs set out by the United Nations. Minister of Health in the Nevis Island Administration, the Honorable Mark Brantley, in making an address to commemorate the week, commended the nurses in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Nurses, of course, work directly in the area of SDG 3, which seeks to ensure healthy lives and well-being for all ages. This work begins with access to health care for expectant mothers through free antenatal services, which now includes access to obstetrics and gynecological services for high-risk women, such as those with gestational diabetes, who are unable to access care otherwise. The immunization program, managed and delivered by nurses, is also one of the best in the world and has contributed to keeping communicable diseases in the population at bay.
The celebration of Nurses Week takes place around May 12th, the date of birth of Florence Nightingale, credited as the founder of nursing. One of the more critical issues affecting Nevis and by extension the Federation is non-communicable diseases, and the minister commended the successes of the diligent work of nurses.
The life expectancy of our population is also increasing, and so is the need for additional geriatric nursing care. Through the flamboyant nursing home, private care facilities, and home care services provided by health centers, persons are able to access these services. There is a need for further training in this area forever, and I take this opportunity to encourage our young women and young men to take advantage of the bachelor's level training opportunity in nursing at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, and then pursue specialized training in this field. Training opportunities are available in many other areas as well, as evidenced in 2016, where many nurses at hospital and community level benefited from courses in maternal health, respiratory care, non-communicable diseases, ophthalmology, emergency care, and graduate level training in midwifery.
Nurses are on the front line of healthcare in our communities, and as such, Minister of Health urges everyone to show their appreciation to them.
The contribution of nurses to the nation's health and economic development cannot be overemphasized. Their work is essential to this country's success. We will continue to invest in this workforce through training opportunities and the improvement and expansion of hospital and health centers, which will provide much needed advancements in infrastructure and technology. I take the opportunity to thank all nurses, nursing assistants, nursing attendants, and other support staff for all that you do. And I pledge my commitment to further investment in the advancement of this noble profession.
The week, which began on May 8th, is slated to culminate on May 14th, 2017. The Department of Education, in collaboration with Warner's One Stop, is hosting the 7th annual Warner's One Stop Family Book Feud on Saturday, May 20th at the Nevis Performing Arts Center. A total of 8 schools will compete in this year's competition. Teacher librarian of the Ivor Walters Primary School, Coral Douglas Clark, implored persons to support the event.
Come out, support the families, support the children, help them to understand that this is not where it stops. Reading takes them way beyond the future, and we're hoping that as a result of this family book feud, we'll be able to enforce reading and encourage our families to spend more time with the children, especially in this field.
Last year's winners, who represented the St. Thomas's Primary School in the parent-child duo of Nadine and Tinaje Jeffers, will this year represent the Charlestown Secondary School. Both spoke about their experiences from last year's competition and gave advice to this year's participants.
It was really a fun experience for us last year, and so this year I would just like to encourage all the participants to just have fun. It's a really enjoyable experience and make the most of it, and on the night just relax and enjoy themselves.
My name is Tinaja Jeffers. I want to encourage everyone to come out and support their school. And to the participants, I just want to tell you to relax, have fun, and even if you don't win, you're still a winner.
The 7 primary schools participating at the Violet O.J. Nichols, Elizabeth Pemberton, Joycelyn Liburd, Ivor Walters, the St. Thomas and Charlestown primary schools, and the Montessori Academy. The Charlestown Secondary School will have 2 participants competing in the 7th annual Warner's One-Stop Family Book Feud. The much talked about pier proposed for the Oahu Beach area by the Nevis Island administration will improve and formalize the transportation of persons taking place in that area.
With this particular project to bring it to fruition, because it is one that is needed and one that I believe will transform, revolutionize, or change the way things are done over there on that side of the island in Oahu Beach area, in terms of the service that will be accessible by the general public, not only Nevisians but also visitors to the island of Nevis as well.
Based on existing factors, it is expected that the construction of the facility would be completed by July 2017, and it is expected to be managed by the Nevis Air and Seaports Authority, NASPA.
We are hoping that over the next month or so we can have some mobilization after we would have provided planning with the necessary proposals and plans for that area. And then by about July, we are hoping to have this project almost completed or nearing completion, because the actual construction of the pier shouldn't take no more than about a month.
2 companies have already been identified to undertake the work. They are local construction company Lefco and Secure Marine out of St. Martin.
And they have done a number of these piers in St. Martin, and I've gone to St. Martin and I've gone into a couple of the marinas over there, and I've seen this style and this type of pier over there that has been around. They have been around for a number of years, so I know they have stood the test of time. It will not be a solid concrete pier as it has been said out there in the general public. It will be done on metal piles, just like the tender pier in Charlestown, and concrete, precast concrete deck. That is the only concrete, along with what goes down into those piles, would be involved in the construction of this pier. So if you were to stand on the beach there at Oahu and look at the existing pier, that wooden pier that is over there, it will be similar in terms of the concept, not similar in terms of the quality and the type. But that would give anyone a good idea as to what we're building, and all of the sand movement and current and wave movement will not be affected or impacted by this pier, as is the case presently out there.
The final figures have not been determined. Minister Jeffers noted that it is more economical to have the precast concrete as opposed to a wooden pier. The funding for this pier will come from the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation. Still to come, new CEO of NCDF says changes will take place in the coming months. The details when we return.
If you like dancing and whining and fretting till the morning, if you like
drinking, masquerading, live music always playing,
if you like islands of blue seas where people always smiling, if you like
street jams and bandstands where people will be jamming, don't you miss this time, no.
in this country I'm a 43,
Our festival, our legacy,
I'm a 43,
don't you miss this time, no.
in this country I'm a 43,
The Caribbean's greatest summer lion,
in this country I'm a
don't you miss this time, no.
in this country I'm a 43,
Our festival, our legacy,
I'm a 43,
don't you miss this time, no.
in this country I'm a 43,
The Caribbean's greatest summer lion.
in this country I'm a 43.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free healthcare at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back. The Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, NCDF, recently received a new Chief Executive Officer in the person of Jerome Rollins. Rollins, who was appointed on the second day of May, spoke about his duties at the NCDF.
The charge given to me here by the board is to make the NCDF a more viable and more visible organization, to make it self-sustainable as much as possible, to get new programs in place, bring new initiatives to light, and to bring more awareness to the Cultural Foundation of Nevis.
CEO Rollins said that persons can see changes taking place at the NCDF in the coming months.
Based on my assessment, I would say that we have a good talent pool here, just a matter of fine-tuning the human resource section. Once we've done that, once we've looked at the processes and refined that as well, I think it would be smooth sailing. Looking at the next 2 or 3 months, you're going to see some changes. You're going to see changes within the NCDF. You're going to see changes within the human resource, whether here at the department, whether out there on the street, whether in the schools where they're conducting training, the officers out at the schools doing training with dances and different performances, etc. You're going to see a change within the next couple of months.
He then spoke about his cultural background.
I play about 6 different instruments. I have been involved with culture armor. In my previous work, I've worked closely with the one Abernathy Liebird. As I mentioned to someone before, when I took over there, sponsorship was $10,000. I was able to get up to $150,000. I don't know where it is now. But I've been working closely with culture and culture on Nevis for a very long time.
CEO of the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, Jerome Rollins. As part of the Agriculture Awareness Month, the Department of Agriculture will be hosting a climate change workshop tomorrow, Wednesday, 10th May, at the Department of Agriculture's conference room.
We have heard so much about climate change, and as a matter of fact, our theme is about climate-smart agriculture. So we'll be looking at climate change, what are some of the issues of climate change, some of the effects of climate change, and what farmers can do to mitigate against the effects of climate change.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Eric Evelyn, outlined the details of the workshop.
That workshop we are having in collaboration with the Jeff Global Environmental Facility Small Grants Program here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they will be sponsoring the workshop. And we're also doing it in collaboration with Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI. The CARDI rep in St. Kitts and Nevis, Mr. Christian Fleming, he will be the facilitator of the project. He's actually a climate change specialist, and we are indeed happy that he will be coming to Nevis to facilitate that workshop.
The workshop begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredesia Liebird. Thank you for viewing.